Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss Class 8 Science Chapter 4 Electricity, Magnetic and Heating Effect MCQs. All the MCQs are conceptual and are going to help you in your exams. Do attempt the MCQs and do not forget to comment down your score. Let's start. First question, what happens when electric current flows through a conducting wire? We know that when current flows through a conducting wire, it produces a magnetic field around the wire. Next question, in the compass experiment, what happens when the switch is turned on? We know that when the switch is turned on, the wire will have the current passing through it and it will generate the magnetic field around itself. So the compass needle gets deflected. Next question, what happens to the compass needle when the switch is turned off? If you turn the switch off, what will happen? The wire will no longer behave as a magnet and it returns to its original position. Which device can be used to detect the magnetic effect of electric current? The device that can be used is magnetic compass. Next question, a current carrying coil behaves like a magnet. We know it behaves like an electromagnet. Next question, a current carrying coil that behaves like a magnet is called a electromagnet. Next question, which material is commonly inserted inside an electromagnet to make it stronger? We know that if we insert iron, the magnetic field becomes strong and the electromagnet also gets stronger. Next question, what happens to an electromagnet when the electric current is switched off? So if you turn the current off, what will happen? The electromagnet will no longer behave as a magnet because the magnetic field will disappear. Its magnetic effect disappears. Next question, which of the following is an application of the magnetic effect of electric current? So the answer is electromagnet. Next question, an electromagnet has both north and south poles. Next question, what happens to the strength of an electromagnet when the number of turns of coil is increased? We know that if we increase the number of turns, the magnet will become stronger. Next question, what happens if a battery with more cells is used with the same electromagnet coil? If you use more amount of cells, what will happen? The current will increase, and if the current will increase, the magnetic field will become stronger. Next question, which two factors can be changed to change the strength of an electromagnet? I can change the amount of current and the number of turns in the electromagnet. What happens to the poles of an electromagnet if the direction of current is reversed? So if you change the direction of current, what will happen? The poles will also reverse. Next question, a lifting electromagnet on a crane is switched on. What will it do? So when the magnet is on, it is going to lift the iron or steel objects because it is behaving like a magnet. Why can a crane release an iron object lifted by an electromagnet? If you turn the current off, what will happen? The magnet will no longer behave as a magnet and the load will be dumped. Next question, lifting electromagnets are commonly used in scrap yards to lift the iron objects. Which of the following is not an application of the magnetic effect? So the answer is electric iron. It behaves on the heating effect of electric current. Rest three have magnetic effect of electric current. Next question, what happens when electric current passes through a conductor? We know that it gets heated up. The generation of heat in a conductor due to electric current is called heating effect. Why does a nichrome wire become warm when current flows through it? We know its resistance converts some electrical energy into heat. We know what is resistance, the capacity of a conductor to stop the flow of current, and it is very high in nichrome wire. So some electrical energy gets converted into heat. Compared with a copper wire of the same size and length, nichrome has higher resistance. For the same duration, a wire connected to two cells produces more heat because we know there is more amount of current, so more heat would be generated. The heat generated in a wire depends on material, thickness, length, duration and current. Which of the following works mainly on the heating effect of electric current? We know the answer is electric iron. Which appliance uses a heating element? Electric kettle. Which of the following is not listed as an electric heating appliance? So the answer is magnetic compass. It works on magnetic effect. The wire or coil that produces heat inside an electrical heating appliance is called the heating element. An incandescent lamp glows because its filament gets heated up by electric current. We know that incandescent lamp, they work on heating effect of electric current. The filament gets heated up and then it starts generating light. Why is nichrome suitable for heating devices? because it offers very high resistance. If resistance is very high, the amount of heat produced will also be high. Unwanted heating in electrical wires during transmission results in energy loss. Next question, overheating of electrical appliances can cause plastic parts to melt. What should be used to minimize unnecessary heating in household switchboards? Properly rated wires, plugs, and sockets. Next question, electric current is used industrially to generate high temperatures for melting and recycling scrap steel. We know that for recycling scrap steel, we use electric furnaces where high temperature is maintained by using heating effect of electric current. A cell or battery generates electricity mainly because of chemical reactions. A voltaic cell is also known as galvanic cell. A voltaic cell contains two different metal rods and a liquid electrolyte. The rods dipped in the electrolyte of a voltaic cell are called, the two rods are called electrodes. The electrolyte in a voltaic cell is usually a weak acid or salt solution. What produces electricity in a voltaic cell? We know that chemical reaction between electrodes and electrolyte, they lead to the flow of electrons and generation of current. What happens when the chemical inside a voltaic cell are used up? The cell stops supplying electricity because now the flow of electrons cannot happen and the current cannot be generated. In the lemon cell activity, the electrolyte is lemon juice. In the lemon cell, the electrodes are made up of copper and iron. A dry cell is called dry because its electrolyte is a thick moist paste rather than a liquid. In dry cell, the zinc container act as negative terminal. In a dry cell, the carbon rod act as positive terminal. Next question. Which type of battery can be recharged and reused several times? Rechargeable battery. Which rechargeable battery type is described as commonly used in modern battery powered devices? Lithium ion battery. Next question, why is an electric fuse useful in a household circuit? We know that it protects the circuit from excessive current. We know electric fuse is a safety device which works on the heating effect of electric current. When more amount of current enters the circuit, it melts and breaks down the circuit, protecting our appliances from the excessive current. Next question, which of the following correctly compares a voltaic cell and a dry cell? We know a voltaic cell has a liquid electrolyte while a dry cell contains a thick moist paste as its electrolyte. This is all from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do like and share the video. Stay tuned to the Curious Lab where you ask, explore and discover. Do not forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.